Alright, welcome back. Here we go. We're going to be attacking part 1 of 5.2.B, Introduction to CAD Modeling Skills. And I'm going to be following the directions here. I want to remind you that there are some additional resources in the Resources tab, the most important one being the fully dimensioned sketches or fully dimensioned drawings of each of these parts. This is the first part we're going to do. It is the passenger body. And we'll create a new part within our AutomoBlocks project file. Again, all these things should be pretty much a review. You can ask for clarifying questions. Notice how I have split screens here. I like having the split screen in order to look at the dimensions on one side, draw it on the other. So first start, where we start, is with drawing a sketch and then extruding said sketch. Now, when I'm looking at a part, what I'm looking for is two-dimensional surfaces that I know that I can stretch out to make into three-dimensional solids. And when I look at this, it's basically kind of a rectangular box, some curved sides and some of curved rectangles punched into it. Since I'm looking at the dimensions, and a lot of these dimensions are on this face, I think that's the sketch where I'm going to start with the sketch. Another approach might be from the top down, yet doing these fillets make it a bit more complicated. I think we're just going to have better luck if we start with the face. And so I'm going to get my rectangle tool out. This mostly looks like a rectangle. And tell you what, I'm looking at these dimensions. I have a width of 317, a height of 153, so I'm going to approximate that. I'm going to zoom out a little more, give myself 317, 153, something like that, close to it. Might zoom in a little more. I'd like to be able to get a good picture of what this might look like. There we go. Then of course we want to dimension these things. So 317 is dimension on the bottom here, and 51153 is over here. Excellent. Our fully dimensioned sketch over here that I'm just referring to. Let's see. So we've got a rectangle. Sides, edges need to be curved. So we're going to use a new tool, the fillet tool. Dimensioning is done. And what a fillet does is basically curves the edges with a given radius. It's as if we put a circle up here and just round off with that circle. So circles have radiuses, and if I look here, this outside curve has a radius of 0.3. The 4 times on that means that there's 4 sides. All 4 corners have the same fillet radius. Well, I should not have pressed enter. So there we go. We got a radius tool. Now, 2 ways I can do this. I can just click on the corner, or I can actually click on the 2 edges that are going to be curved. So I kind of like going to a corner if possible. It's just 1 click, not 2. But in some cases, it's not so easy. Again, you can pause, rewind, watch that again. That was the fillet tool with a radius of 0.3 wrapped around there. Again, at this point I could extrude, or what I could do is try and cut out these little squares as I do that extrusion. Looks like that's pretty uniform on both sides of these things. And so here we go. I think I'll just do this all in one sketch. The rectangle. Let's draw this rectangle. Now, you know what I'm going to do? I think I'm just going to make sure that it's right on the corner. Actually, let me cancel. I want to make sure that when I do the rectangle, it actually snaps. There we go. It snapped to place right on this line. It's coincident with the line. And again, I could dimension as I go, or I could just draw the rectangle and then dimension it later. So I know that this thing is a width of 0.06, just like in my picture. It has a height right from here to here is 0.06, and from the very top to the top part of the there we go, straight line come across is 0.3. Now does that sound familiar? It should. It's the radius of this circle. So basically when this circle levels out, that's where this gets cut in. So I've got in there. Now one thing that I could be concerned about is the fact that there's still a line right here, and when I go to extrude, I'd have to be mindful of this I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to see if I can use the trim tool. Trim tool can be a little fussy at times, especially if I already dimensioned something. It doesn't like to cut things away that have already been dimensioned, but let's test this out here. Here's my trim tool. Again, it trims a curve to the nearest intersecting curves, selected boundaries. So I'll tell you what, if I look at this, notice how then this line becomes nice and dotted. I'm going to click here. Did that trim something? Oh, I bet it was my rectangle that it trimmed. Now, what if I go to try and trim again? Doesn't like trimming that away because I made a rectangle. Interesting. So, I'll tell you, it can be a little fussy there. But if I cancel, if I go back, you know what? We actually don't have to trim it away. Ooh, I do want that dimension in there though. 0.30. So our dimensions are good. That's fine. We'll leave it there. We'll do the same thing on the other side. And I tell you what, I wonder if I can't show you a different thing. Again, this is going to be kind of symmetric on the other side. Nope, I just made a decision. I'm not going to use. There's a pattern tool, a mirror, or a symmetric constraint. You can experiment with that. I'm going to go to this side. I'm going to use my line tool instead. I'm going to snap the green. I'm going to go over 0.06. Press enter. I'm going to go down perpendicular. Not off. If I go like this, it's not going to work. There we go. I'm going to go 0.06 here. And I'm going to go 0.06 back. There we go. Right click and say OK. And let's see if the trim tool is fussy at this point. No, it's not. But it does go green because we didn't really dimension where this was at, where that intersection is. And so I might just go up here just to be picky. There we go. Excellent. And so now we've got this sketch. It's going to be finished. We're going to extrude it. We'll worry about cutting the stuff out later. If we do this all in one, that would be a problem. Let me just tell you why before I extrude this. When you do an extrusion, you can only extrude one profile, one direction. You cannot extrude it, back or extrude it out and then extrude these different lengths. It doesn't work like that. So we're going to end up sketching on here, but this depth is at 317. I'm okay with going this direction one way or another. It's going to be fine. And notice how when I clicked on the inside, it didn't matter that I still had the line there in the sketch. I can go back and click on the sketch and you can still see the line. You can see the lines, can't you, Russ? It's a little Christmas vacation line for you. Alright, so we've done that. Now basically what we need to do, we need to punch the 1, 2, 3 holes in it, the front and the top and the back side, and we're going to be done. So I'm going to make a new sketch right on this surface. I'm going to go through the same process, go a little bit faster now. Again, I'm just going to put a generic rectangle. I'm not really going to snap it to anything. In fact, I don't want it constrained to anything. That way I can actually use my dimension tool and say, alright, so this has a width of 2.4. This has a height of 0.93. And then most importantly, look closely here. Notice how this edge is 0.39 away from that edge. Oops. Come on. Dimension from this edge to that edge. There we go. 0.39. And then let's look really closely. There it is. There's the dimension snuck in there. From the top line to the top of the line, it's 0.30. Excellent. Fully constrained. And then finally, we need to curve the edges. Fillet tool once again. Radius is a little different, 0.2. And in this case, there you go. Go to the corners. Go to the corners. Go to the corners. Go to the corners. Okay. Boom. Just that easy. We dimensioned the rectangle. We dimensioned its location. And finally, we did the fill in the corners completely purple. Let's do another extrusion here. Again, the profile that we're going to extrude has already been selected, but this time we're going to cut it. But the distance is actually what does that say? Is that a 0.37 or 0.57? I'm going to go 0.57. Seems reasonable. How does 0.37 look? I think it's 0.57. Alright. Again, this is my front side, is what it would look like. Top side. And then we have the back side. Let's jump to the top here. I'm going to create a new sketch here. Now, I'm going to twist this around, going up to my navigation, make it look like, so when I read this, it's going to be there. So, rectangle is going to look about this big. Hey, I'm going to be done in about 5 minutes. Do you want to watch? I'm being recorded, so the audio is recording. My students will be able to hear you talk. So, just telling you that. Teaching how to use this tool, known as Autodesk Inventor, 3D modeling, so we can 3D print this.
Wait a minute, so they'll hear me talking like now?
Yes, they will. And they'll hear you clap. Okay, please stop, otherwise I gotta ask you to leave. If you want to learn, you can sit here and learn. And again, I'm just looking at overall dimensions. So I dimension the rectangle now, I dimension where it's at. Call this a 0.6. Now make sure, careful, see all these different lines you can select, this white line or that white line, you want to make sure you're selecting the correct white line. And then finally we'll locate it from this side. 0.82. We need to curve these edges. 0.2. Excellent. Call that good. And extrude it down. Finish the sketch. Extrude. Hope you're doing alright. Hope you're enjoying this process. Going step by step with me. That direction. Cut it. Excellent. 1.07. There we go. Wonderful. Finally, we're going to get the back side. Navigation cube to see here. We're going to do a new sketch on this one. And same process. Again, a lot of different things that it's picked up in the background now. Again, it's seeing those sorts of things from last time. So again, I actually don't like that. I just kind of want to click anywhere. And once again, I'm going to do two things. I'm going to dimension it, I'm going to locate it, fillet it, and extrude. So let's get underway. Shortcut, the D key for dimension. It's a 2.5, by the way, not a 2.4. This is not the same as the front. Can you notice that? 1 inch in height, not the same as the front. I'm sure I'm really careful about which ones I'm hitting here. And a lot of different lines back there that you can touch, so just be mindful of this. Again, I'm going to go from here, so again I can click from there. Here we go, from here to here is 0.34. So it's dimension, it's located. Finally, let's fill it. It also has a radius of 0.2, so there we go. Oops. Yeah, I want to go in here. There we go. There we go. And alright, not as talkative now, it's more the same. Extrude it, go a different direction, cuts it out. What did we say? We said 0.57. Half an inch sounds about right. And feel good about that. Go back to my home screen. So according to our dimensions, you might think that we're done, but wait, there's more, because we're good students. We read and follow the directions. After we have done our sketch and extruded those distances and done those extrude cuts, we're going to save this file as file, save as. I'm going to name it PassengerSection your initials. So you could be the funny guy that types out your initials. No, PassengerSection followed by your initials. Notice how they're in italics. Save. Wonderful. But wait, there's more. We're going to text and emboss. So it says emboss the vehicle name of the 3D model. So again, we're going to open this up. It's already open. We're going to create a sketch on this surface. New sketch. We're going to use the text tool, which you will find right here. And write the name of the automobile block. So again, with the text tool, you just simply, say, well, how much do I want to write? And so create a little surface there. This will pop up. By default, the font will be Tahoma. I'm going to go capital T followed by a 9. I'm going to look at these and say, well, yeah, one's a bit bigger than the other. So I might just increase the size of this to, well, let's just double it. It also looks like it's bold. You know what? The 9 looks like it's bold too. And I don't know, is there a space in there? No, not a gap that much. Maybe I could put the back here and do a regular space. Yeah, maybe I don't need the space. This isn't a big priority to me. For those of you terribly interested in visual design, this will make a bigger difference to you. So I have my T, I have my 9. I can right click. Okay, we've got our text in there. In fact, I can click and drag it around, try and get it positioned where I like it. Go back to the home screen and say, well, how does that look compared to this one? Oh, not bad. Now it asks us to emboss. Emboss feature. I'm going to finish that sketch, by the way. Emboss feature is going to be found up here. If your commands don't look the same as mine, you usually find it on the suite. But here it is, emboss. And it says we're going to emboss the features letter depth of 0.02. So we got to change our depth. And again, what's the profile that we're going to emboss? Well, this is our profile. Yep, it's going to come out. Let me see if I can preview. No, we're going to go that direction with it. We'll see what happens. Yeah, notice how it came out. Isn't that nice? Step 3. Asks us to paint the surface. Changing the face color style of the surface. Select the surfaces of the letters. So here's the surface of the letter. Right click, select properties, and choose black from the list of colors. Let me say that again. Select the surfaces of the letters. Right click, select properties, choose black from the list of colors. Finish the letters. Save the file. You know what we're missing? We're missing this nice coloring over here. Wouldn't it be nice if I told you how that works? Well, allow me to tell you. I'm going to make this a little bit larger so now I can actually see two of the options that we have right here. We have different types of actual substances, what the solid is made of, and then just the surfaces. So this is a really powerful tool. Let's make this out of wood, because it is made out of wood. Let's just say it's made out of birch. Now that birch color doesn't really look like what we want it to look like, does it? Not so much. But rather than using a birch, we can actually change. So the thing can be made of birch, but then look at like something else. See if we can find a pine in here. And if you can't, then you can go to the appearance library. And I think we can do a nice little search for pine. P-I-N-E. Aha. I like it. Yeah. I want to use this. I'm going to double click. See. I don't play around with this much. Okay. I like it. There we go. We want to add that to our material library. Okay. Can I search it now? Do we got pine? Show me pine. Goodness gracious. Pine. Oh, I like it. Or do we do coarse pine? Oh, now I'm just being picky. No, it doesn't look quite as detailed. Wonderful. Oh, that looks sharp. That looks sharp. If your view doesn't look like mine, you might want to double check your visual style. I like the mine with edges. If you don't have edges, sometimes it blends together. You can't really tell where those edges are. So shaded with edges. Oh, beautiful. Save it, submit it, and you're going to be done with